So I just got in from Atlanta. I'm visiting my parents for a couple days because my mom's birthday and we're having a little party for her. And then I'm also gonna be here to take some photos at the Home Co-op where I take photos sometimes for their yearbook and everything. So it's gonna be kind of a busy trip. Also, I have this copy of The Cruel Prince my sister's let me borrow for while I'm here. So I'll try and get as much reading of that as humanly possible. But yeah, so I'm here for a couple days. It's gonna be fun, a lot to do. So let's get started. And we start, of course, by saying hi to Zendaya. Hi, Zendaya.
I think a day of Ascot would be good for us all.
Hey! So I had this trip turn into an unplanned book swap with my little sister. She handed me The Cruel Prince, as I mentioned, one of her absolute favorites, and I gave her the Inheritance games, which neither one of us has read yet, but we're both determined to fix that this trip. I told myself that I'd just read the first few chapters before bed and then get to sleep at a normal, reasonable time since we have a lot to do the next day. But famous last words, of course. This book opens up with a literal bang, like, hello, no easing in at all. And then suddenly I'm 3, 4, maybe 5 chapters in deep, fully hooked, and realizing that Jude might be the kind of feral, knife hidden in her boot heroine I really need. I'm not usually an enemies to lovers kind of person. I usually find them kind of cheesy and a little cringy, but this one is the deadly kind. These people might actually kill each other kind. And now I get why everyone on Bookstagram is obsessed with Cardan. He's cruel, chaotic, probably tortured, and Jude hates him so much she can hardly breathe. And I love that for her. So now it's the next morning. I just got up. I'm getting up kind of early today so I can go take photos at Co-op, but I'm a little tired because I spent most of the night reading. I got really into this actually. See, I got pretty far in it last night when I should have been sleeping. But hopefully I'll be able to finish it while I'm here. If I can't, then I'll have to get a copy from my library or something. I really want to finish it. I'm actually really enjoying it. Now I have to go get ready, wash my hair, and put on makeup, do all that stuff so I can get ready for Co-op today. So now it's time to go to Co-op, and we're going to take some photos, and then I don't know if I'm going to do anything afterwards. I'm usually pretty tired after Co-op, but let's get going. So the kids made book character pumpkins, and it's really fun to see which characters they all picked. Okay, so I'm done taking photos for the first and second period, so now I'm off to go get my bag and everything, so I'm gonna have lunch. I'm gonna read a little bit. So I brought The Cruel Prince with me to read during breaks. Here I am sneaking in a few more chapters of my book while my mom is teaching her history class, and of course I snack on some of the candy left over from her students' trivia games they were playing earlier. At this point I was stressing out, thinking I might not finish the book in time before I had to go home, but luckily right after this my sister and I decided that we're going to let each other borrow the books so that we're not having to do some kind of crazy speed reading competition here. So I'm finally able to savor it. So we're done at Co-op now. I got a good bit of reading done. And of course, all the photos and everything needed to get done there as well. Now my mom and I just got back from Sam's Club because we went to get pizzas and cupcakes for dinner tonight. And now I'm waiting for them to be done at the pharmacy. And then we're gonna go head on home and watch The Gilded Age until we drop. I'm real excited. And then we eat the birthday cupcakes while binging Downton Abbey. So I actually decided to do this fun thing where I have my mom pick what I'm reading while I'm in town, and she picked Her Night at the Museum, which is a really fun book about a museum curator who has some kind of magic thing happen with one of the statues. It ends up being an actual knight who's trapped, I think, by a witch. I think that's how it works. I think. We'll see. But basically, it's the archivist and the statue that comes to life, basically. So I think it's been really fun. I really love Night at Museum, those movies, and so I think it's gonna sound kind of like that, but with like a romance novel kind of twist, so I'm pretty excited about it. I'm also doing a book trade with my sister as well while I'm here. And so I'm gonna be reading The Cruel Prince for my sister. That's one of her favorite books, and then I'm letting her borrow one of my books to read as well. And then when I come back in March, we'll switch back. So I let my mom pick my next read off my TBR shelf from home, and she picked Her Night at the Museum because she thought the title sounded really fun, and she honestly was right on. Once again, I thought I'd just read a few chapters before bed and then be done with it. I don't know why I keep thinking I can do that. I was up far too late reading. But the premise is so delightfully unhinged. A divorced art conservator, medieval knight statue, cursed for centuries, and maybe talking to her? I knew immediately this book was going to be quirky in all the best ways. So I am in Montgomery right now waiting for a friend who's going to meet me for a coffee, and then we're going to go to the used bookstore for a bit. She's running a little late, which I expected. So I actually brought a book with me to read, and so I'm just chilling here and waiting for her, and I'm reading the book that my mom picked out for me to read while I'm in town, and I'm really enjoying it so far, so I'm not too upset about this. And that took it with me to the coffee shop while waiting for a friend, because apparently I can't put this book down. Between the fish out of water moments, the little mystery of the missing statue, air quotes, and the way Griffin adores Emily like it's his life's purpose is exactly the kind of fun, fluffy escape I needed. So yeah, my mom picked super well. It's whimsical, a little ridiculous, very charming, and weirdly impossible to stop reading. I'm already excited to see how this medieval himbo handles the rest of Chicago. So when my friend gets there, we decide we're going to walk to the bookstore from the coffee shop because the weather is so nice out and it gives us a little more time to chit chat. And then we get to the New South Bookstore, which is a really cool indie bookstore in Montgomery. I'll have the short and the video that I've done before about it linked down below. And then as soon as we walk into the store, I see this really cool table all about Jane Austen, and one of the employees was telling me how they have some really cool Jane Austen events planned. And then we look around and browse a bit. And then as we're looking around, I find one of the Twilight books I'm missing because I'm doing a series where I'm rereading and annotating all of the series. And if you want to check out the first video in that series, I'll have it linked above and below. As we're walking, I realized there are some little free libraries there in the area, and so I look up to see if I can find one nearby, and I found one that was really close by to where we were, so we decided to go over there and check it out. This one's pretty small. I didn't really see anything else all that interested in. However, I just donated a bunch of books at the bookstore we were just in because that bookstore also takes donations. And so I only had one book left to put into this one. And then after that, we head to the coffee shop and hang out for a little bit, and I don't take any more video for the rest of the day. Now, I always wake up with the sun when I'm at my parents' house because of the window in the guest room. So, of course, the first thing I reached for was this book once again. And I swear, reading this sweet, silly, slightly chaotic romance in the full sunshine just worked to start my day off just right. Griffin the Knight is so overly noble and dramatic that watching him stumble his way through modern life is honestly adorable. By this point, I was fully invested. It's definitely a rom-com you have to just kind of roll with. Like curse-breaking kisses, medieval chivalry, accidental museum disasters, but the chemistry between Emily and Griffin is so earnest, it's easy to root for them. He's basically a human golden retriever wrapped in armor and centuries of pining. So after I make myself put my book down and get ready, we go to Prattville for the Parade of Pumpkins. It's the last day, and so some of the pumpkins are a little worse for wear, but some of them are still really cool. Also, there's a food truck, which my dad got one of their snow cones, and he wasn't super impressed with it though. There are a bunch of really cool pumpkins like Labubu's and K-pop Demon Hunters and other things. There's just seriously so many pumpkins. Like, it really seems like they bought out an entire farm of pumpkins or something. Like, there's a lot of pumpkins in the video footage that I have here, and it's not all of them by far. So I'm in Prattville right now with my family, and we are here for the Parade of Pumpkins. It's the last day, so we really want to see it. Today's actual Halloween. It's my mom's birthday too, so we're doing it for her birthday to like come do something and all that stuff. Right now they're in the candy shop, but I decided to go to the little free library just to go check it out real quick while I'm down here because there's a bunch of them down here. So then we're gonna meet up back up the coffee shop. Ooh, not a lot in here. Yeah, nothing in here right now. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna check the other one first. And of course, we can't go to downtown Prattville without getting some ice cream and some danishes from our favorite little coffee shop down here. Then we go through the butterfly garden, which was also decorated for Halloween. So pretty. And then it's time to start the next day by, of course, saying hi to Zendaya. Good morning. Good morning, Zendaya. So our day starts by us taking my niece out to the park where we used to play when we were little kids. It has somehow changed so much and not at all from how I remember it when I was a kid. I don't know how that's possible, but they've done it. Though while they're all playing in the park and everything, I head over to the library that we used to go to as kids as well, because it shares a parking lot. I haven't been here in decades, and I'm hit with another wave of nostalgia because it looks almost exactly like how I remember it, down to the carpet. The only difference is of course the card catalog is replaced with computers now. But some of the new shelves go in front of the other ones. I'm not sure how they expect to get the books out. I'm not really sure what their plan is here. And then they had some books for sale. I didn't see anything that I liked, but I found a few that I thought my niece would like. And then I take my other sister to Michael's to get some art supplies for her art class. And then I find some dark academia, decorative paper for me to decorate my Kindle with. And then the next day, I start my morning once again, bright and early with a book. And to keep the bookish vibes going, I take my little sister to Books A Million. So I head off to my favorite section, the romance section, and despite this Books A Million being bigger than the one I usually go to, I couldn't find anything that was on my list. So I ended up not getting anything, but my sister found a few things she liked. So it's time for me to leave, and I decided on my way home to Atlanta, I decided to stop at my favorite coffee shop one last time before I leave town to get my favorite hot chocolate and also to read a little bit more of Her Night at Museum, the book my mom picked out for me for this trip. And that's where she picked exactly the right one because I've been absolutely flying through it and loving it. At this point, I'm almost done, the kind of almost done where you start rationing out pages because you don't want it to end too soon. Emily and Griffin have completely taken over my brain. Emily's this art conservator trying to rebuild her life post-divorce, just doing her job, restoring a medieval knight statue until she actually breaks a century-old curse and brings the man himself back to life. And Griffin, the man, is chivalrous, dramatic, completely enamored, and hilariously confused by the modern world. He's basically sunshine and armor. The whole thing is charming, chaotic, in the best way, a little campy, a lot sweet, and so much chemistry and more emotional depth than I expected. I love watching them dance around their feelings while also navigating FBI suspicion, museum politics, and Griffin learning how to exist in the 21st century, Chicago, without knocking over priceless artifacts. So here I am, sipping my hot chocolate, trying to pretend I'm not desperate to finish these last few chapters, but I'm saving them for when I get home, partly to give myself something cozy to look forward to, partly so I don't be getting into Atlanta at midnight. It just feels like the perfect way to wrap up this whole trip, ending where I started with a book my mom chose for me, almost at the end of the story, almost ready to go home. I'll finish the last few pages on my couch tonight, and honestly, I already know I'm going to miss these chapters when they're over. It's not really a trip to Alabama if I don't go to Milo's. So that's the end of my vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!